built this city with bold thinking and hard work. And at 19, we're building our brand new newscast the same way. Because this is a whole new city, and you deserve a whole new way to look at it. 19 News, a new choice for a new Cleveland.
Roseanne, weekdays at 5 on 19.
And good evening, folks. A happy Monday to you, and welcome back, everybody. I'm Tom, and this is the simulcast now up and running for January the 23rd, 1995, from TV City in a rainy Los Angeles, California. Matter of fact, it is leaking in here, isn't it, tonight? Yes. It's dripping on the floor, yeah. You hear? By the way, those are stereo surround raindrops, actual live raindrops from Hollywood to your house. It almost sounds like Kennedy didn't make the latrine, doesn't it? 3.2 million, and the roof leaks. Man. Tonight we have with us Golden Globe nominee and great actor Gary Sinise, who was the Best Supporting Actor nominee for his work in Forrest Gump, where he played Lieutenant Dan. A bit later on, abortion activist David Gunn Jr., and tonight a look back at the remarkable life and times of Rose Kennedy, who passed away at the age of 104 this past weekend. You know, I was watching this O.J. Simpson thing this afternoon, and I don't know how much of it you all saw around the country, but here it was on live on all the TV stations in Southern California. And it was such a letdown to us here because we had been told all weekend that today was the day they would have opening arguments and statements in the beginning of the trial of O.J. Simpson. And they came in today, the defense, with a bunch of suggestions for witnesses and videotape. And the thing dragged on all day, and now the opening statements have been postponed until, I believe, 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. And there is a possibility, and I'm sure you heard this on the evening news, that O.J. Simpson would make a 1-minute statement as part of the opening presentation by the defense. If that happens, it'll be around 5:30, 6 o'clock New York time tomorrow. Can you imagine the ratings on the O.J. Simpson announcement tomorrow if that comes to pass? It will transcend every Super Bowl that has ever been on the air. But again, we will wait and see what happens. It was legal skirmishing again today in the courtroom here in Southern California. You know, I picked up the paper this morning, and for some reason, I go through the want-ads. You know, I look for prices on stuff like pianos and trains and stuff, and I noticed a little item here. It says, entertainment TV contestants. Would you put that up on the screen there? Read along with me here. Is your husband mad because you haven't lost the weight you gained when you were pregnant? You could be on a national talk show. Call Jill or Juliet Collect, and it gives the number there, 212-582-1722. And then there's another one right below it there. Are you upset because your teenage daughter acts and dresses much older than she is? And then you can call the same talk. Why don't we dial that number up here on the toll-free and see if we can reach these people? I have no idea what show this is. Have you got it in there? It's 800, or 212-582-1722. It'll be up, I guess, in just a second. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Raindrops. Good, good. Probably a bad connection because of the hole in the ceiling, yeah. Ah, here we go. Maybe there's nobody there. Maybe they're gone for the night. What's happening in the control room right now? I guess they're not. Oh, they're going to redial. Good, good. Another live television moment, folks, happening before your very eyes. Gary Sinise here tonight. Abortion activist David. Do we have any buckets out for the rain?
Yeah, we do. Here it comes.
Okay, here's the phone. Some you win, some you lose. Here we go. Just a little sweat, not that much.
Yeah.
Get it? Forget it.
Right?
Anything. Yeah, yeah. Oh, for heaven's sake, look at that. Yeah, that's where the rain is coming in the ceiling there. We got the tarp up there. Now bring it down. And there are the, yeah, there they are right there. You know, that's, if we've got to have 4 buckets, that's a Class A leak back there. Yeah. Have we got the bilge pumps going? Yeah, get them going, because it's up to the gun whales in more ways than one. That damn phone number.
They're going to try one more time.
No, they're not. He says they're going to try one more time on my dead body. We're going to try one more time. We'll try it in the break and see what happens. We have Gary Sinise standing by right around the corner. We'll be right back with the rest of the show. And let's hope it goes a little smoother. Now, this time out for some brief messages from our sponsors. Get off me, please.
This summer, we invited everyone who owns a Saturn to visit Spring Hill, a Saturn homecoming. They could see where their cars were built and meet the people who built them. We could thank them for believing in us. 44,000 people spent their vacations with us at a car plant. Of course, not everything went exactly as planned, but we were all in it together, the way we always have been.
How fast can you begin to feel relief from a cold? Depends. How fast can you open a Hall's with vapor action? Hall's vapor action means instant action, only from the halls of medicine.
Introducing the only candy made with the refreshing tart and sweet taste of Ocean Spray. All natural fruit waves when you're thirsty for a great candy.
We have everything here. This is a full-service catering company, and this building can create anything for anybody. We can do a special event, we can do a corporate function, we can do a social function. You can entrust us with your daughter's wedding or any anniversary for your parents, the 50th anniversary, whatever might be important to you. What are the successful points of a party? Service, product, ambiance.
Built this city with bold thinking and hard work. And at 19, we're building our brand new newscast the same way, because this is a whole new city, and you deserve a whole new way to look at it. 19 News, a new choice for a new Cleveland.
And see, I was going to leave a message. You know, that, yeah, the wife gained 95 pounds with the kid, and she hasn't lost it yet, and she's got her own area code, and she's going condo. They had her walk through the Lincoln Tunnel just to clean it out. She wore a grade, never mind. Gary Sinise became a household name last year with his work in the enormously popular motion picture Forrest Gump. And now, after a lifetime of acting and directing, he is meeting Hollywood on his own terms. Gary, thank you for joining us tonight, and congratulations on your achievement, not only in Forrest Gump, but all the work you've done in theater over the years, and I thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
Let me ask you about the Golden Globes on Saturday. I know that everybody goes down there expecting to win, or at least come very close to winning. And as I said to you before we started, I thought that you and Marty Landau both gave outstanding performances, and I wish there could have been a tie, because you were both terrific. How'd you feel when your name wasn't called?
Well, you know, to me, it's just great to be there. This time last year, I wasn't going to any award shows, and this time next year, who knows what it was. So I'm just enjoying the moments of being included in a great group of actors right now.
Yep, exactly right. Let me ask you here about your introduction to showbiz. You were a young kid, and one day a teacher took you on a field trip to see a production of Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, which you would later not only produce and direct, but appear in with John Malkovich, your friend. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like for
you? Life-changing in a certain way, because it was kind of my first real strong introduction to drama, and I was so moved by the production that it made me feel like, if I was going to be an actor, that is the kind of reaction that I needed from the audience. I wanted to elicit that kind of emotion.
Before that experience in the theater, had you done anything at all with the prep players or the high school players? Had you done any stage work, any amateur work at all?
Oh, yeah. I had gotten into theater when I was about 16, and West Side Story was my first play, and I was one of the gang members, and, you know, got to rumble and dance on stage and that kind of thing. And after that moment, I just couldn't get enough of it. And we went on this field trip up to the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis and saw 3 plays in 2 days, and Mice and Men was one of them. And I just stood up and tried to scream some accolades at the actors.
Like bravo, bravo.
Oh, yeah, and nothing would come out of my mouth. It was, I was sobbing. It's just one of those moments where you're so choked up you can't.
And like, I mean, then when you got back home and you're at dinner with your family, you just say, geez, Mom and Dad, I just saw the greatest thing in the world. I mean, this moved me. All of a sudden, I don't want to be a ball player. I don't want to be a jet plane pilot. I want to do theater.
Well, no, actually, by the time I saw it, I was really into theater. So I had been doing as much in high school as I could, all the different plays, and my friend Jeff Perry, who is my lifelong friend from high school, and I just started doing plays whenever we could. We built our own theater in high school.
I heard in the cafeteria?
Yeah, in the cafeteria, yes. Yeah, we took over the cafeteria, built our own lighting system out of coffee cans and floodlights inserted into these cans. We made a little light board, and we hung the lights from...
Yeah, it's up on screen right now. Folks can see it.
Oh, yeah. You can see up above there.
Sure.
The lights are made out of coffee cans, and it was a theater and around. That's our cafeteria there.
And why is there a bed there?
Well, that's the set.
Oh, I see. I thought, you know, maybe... Never mind.
Yeah, no, that's the set right in, and you can see the chairs around the edges of the cafeteria there. And
primitive but effective, huh?
It was the first time we built our theater, and that's kind of the beginning of Steppenwolf and do it yourself work.
So once you finished school, was the transition to Steppenwolf almost immediate?
It was immediate. Yeah. I graduated late. Had to go back to high school for a semester because I was the theater kid, but I wasn't good at anything else.
I got you. Yeah, the physics and the math suffered, but I was very good at Shakespeare, sure.
That's right. I was being graded on how many plays I was doing eventually, and had to go back for a semester, and so I graduated in 1974, January 1974, immediately went and found a church and started doing theater in a church with high school kids, and we called it Steppenwolf, and that was 1974, and it just kept going.
I know, and eventually it caught the attention of people in New York City, and as I recall, once a year, didn't Steppenwolf go to New York for a week or 10 days and do productions there that I believe received great critical acclaim?
For much longer than a week or 10 days. We did our first production there in 1982, and that was a play by Sam Shepard called True West that I did with John Malkovich, and it was the first time that Steppenwolf took one of its plays out of town. And it was a turning point in the theater, I think, because...
Well, especially when out of town means going to New York, yeah.
Yeah, there's a funny story that I was trying to get the rights to one of our plays to do it in New York, and I was talking to the agent, and I said, you know, we'd really like to... It was a New York agent. We'd really like to come out there and do the show, and boy, if we could do it in the spring out there, it sure would be good. And she goes, out there? My good man, you are out there. We are in New York.
We're in here. You're out there, right?
You know, and that's my Manhattan agent story. But it was fun. By 1982, we took our first play there, and then we did a play there every year for about 6 years. And
when I say a week, 10 days, I meant would you go in and do like a run of a week or 10 days and then go back?
Oh, no. We did True West ran for 2 years in New York.
Oh, excuse me.
I mean, all of a sudden we were performing. This is local Chicago guys, small theater group that started when we were in our. I was 18 when it started. All of a sudden we're downtown at the Cherry Lane Theater.
Yeah.
And we're performing for, you know, Cassavetes is in the audience tonight. Jackie O is out there with JFK Jr. And, you know, we're just like every night there's somebody in the audience, and it was. it was actually the beginning of John Malkovich's film career. He went off, started a film career after that, and we just kept taking shows there every year.
As a matter of fact, John Malkovich and others left eventually to go to Hollywood and pursue careers in films, but you stayed behind. You stayed with Steppenwolf, and you stayed with your true love, the theater. I don't know if you resisted Hollywood, if you thought making movies was somehow less pure than theater, but you stuck with stage rather than film.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily think it was less pure. I wasn't given the opportunities that some of the other folks were at that time. But not to say that, I mean, I didn't really pursue it in the way, because I was a founder of the theater, still am, but I was also kind of one of I was the artistic director, and it was still something that was unfulfilled for me in a certain way. I was building a theater, and that's what I started out to do with my friends, and I was part of the leadership of that, and I didn't want to let that go. On the other hand, who knows if, you know, if Sidney Pollack would have said, hey, you got the lead in my next movie, you know, I don't know what would have happened, where I would have went, but...
JFK.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I don't know. Who knows? I was very dedicated to building the theater, and I'm glad, because now we have an $8 million building there. We have 2 theaters, a 300-seat and a 500-seat, and it's a very strong theater in Chicago. We have a show running out here in L.A. called Picasso at the Le Panagile, written by Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's place, doing great business. I've got a break waiting here I have to get to. We're talking with Gary Sinise of Forrest Gump and many other fine productions. The toll-free line is up and running at 800-95-CBS-TV. I'm Tom. This is a simulcast. We're coming right back after these messages.
Introducing a revolutionary new toothbrush, the Aquafresh Flex Direct, the only toothbrush with a unique pivoting head for cleaning those hard-to-reach places. Let's see how well it bends. First, the brushes tackle the ramp. No problem. Next, the pipes. Clean through. Now into the slalom. Watch that head pivot. The winner, new Aquafresh Flex Direct. And its flexible neck is gentle on your gums, too. Aquafresh Flex Direct cleans brilliantly because it really uses its head.
For the first 6 weeks, there's no food more perfect than mother's milk. After that, there's no cat food more perfect than Whiskas. Nutritionally complete, Whiskas has the vitamins and minerals vets recommend. Whiskas picks up where mother leaves off.
Cellular One is so remarkably clear that we're actually recording this commercial on it. Cellular One, the nation's #1 cellular service, clear across America.
Tuesday, 2 firefighters battle ablaze when a sudden wind shift threatens to engulf them in flames.
Instantly knew what had happened.
Rescue 911, Tuesday.
Get live with CBS on Prodigy, the nation's most popular online service. Go behind the scenes of The Late Late Show with Tom Snyder. Talk with Tom and his guests online. Tell us what you think. Get program information. Even take a special Tom Snyder trivia quiz. To order Prodigy, call 1-800-PRODIGY and ask for the CBS offer today.
Al Rally here at Rally's, where we specialize in drive-thru. Yeah. It's faster. Rally's is dedicated to the preparation of our hot, fresh, juicy, and delicious burgers, fries, and other great foods. We believe what the world needs is better fast food, prepared fresh and delivered quickly. 2 drive-thrus, much faster. And if you love hamburgers but didn't drive, walk. Run, it's faster. Get a hot, fresh, delicious, and fast Rally burger made to order, just 79 cents. Rally's, twice as good, twice as fast.
Intermission, the show that asks, how much do you really know about the silver screen?
Brought to you by the makers of Dimetapp.
When I get a cold, I need a strong medication. My husband's a doctor and can give me anything, but he recommends Dimetapp Extend tabs. Dimetapp controls my sneezing and nasal congestion. It's strong medicine.
For colds, doctors recommend Dimetapp.
Considered the landmark of motion picture epics, Birth of a Nation was the brainchild of what legendary director? On our 10-point scale, this question has a difficulty rating of 2.
You're having an asthma attack. Do you reach for a brand you've never heard of? Or Primatene Mist? Primatene starts to open clogged breathing passages in as fast as 15 seconds. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
With a running time of 3 hours and an unheard-of box office price of $2, Birth of a Nation was D.W. Griffith's tour de force.
Morning, sir. Oh, get your hands down. Do not salute me. There are damn snipers all around this area who love to grease an officer. I'm Lieutenant Dan Taylor. Welcome to Fort Platoon. What's wrong with your lip?
I was born with big gums, sir.
Yeah, well, you better tuck that in. Gonna get that caught on a tripwire.
That is Gary Sinise and Michael T. Williams and Tom Hanks. Williamson, I'm sorry. And you just told me as it was playing, it was all an ad lib?
Well, the thing about the gums and the lip and all that.
You're kidding.
No, he was doing the thing with the lip, and we just, you know, we were goofing around on the set, and just in character, I just started saying, what's wrong with that lip? You better tuck that in and all that. And we showed it to Bob, and he said, oh, that's great, let's throw it in.
Yeah, and the little Chipperillo, is that fiction or reality with you, the little cigar?
No, that's something that I saw a documentary that was done on a sergeant in Vietnam, and he smoked cigars and stuff, and so I kind of took that right from him.
We're with Gary Sinise, actor, and here is Gloria joining us on the toll-free from Deerfield, Illinois. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Gloria.
How are you, Tom?
I'm fine, thanks. Hope you are. Here's Gary. Say hello.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We're all fine, Gloria. Gloria, we couldn't be better.
And
it's the middle of the night, the rain is coming into the studio, and the phone didn't work. We're just great, Gloria. It couldn't be better.
I've been watching.
Thank you.
I can't hear.
So your question for Gary, Gloria?
I really don't have a question.
I see.
What I'd like to say, Gary, is congratulations. We're all very proud of you. I was a counselor at Highland Park High School, knew Gary and Jeff Perry all the way through school, and he brings back wonderful memories.
Well,
aren't you nice to call and say that? That's terrific, huh?
Thank you so much.
Oh, well, the other thing I wanted to say was I saw you on a show this summer, and I thought it was wonderful that you gave congratulations to Barbara Patterson.
Oh, well, she changed my life. I mean, she sent me on my
Patterson being?
Barbara Patterson is my high school drama teacher.
Oh, there you go.
And she's the one who kind of got me so interested in theater and sort of sent me on my way.
Believed in you early. Very important. Gloria, I'm glad you called. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
When you were making Forrest Gump, all of you in the company, the crew, the production staff, did you have any idea what was coming? The scope of this picture and the enormous popularity that it brought?
No, not that. I mean, no one could really predict that it would turn into this kind of Gump phenomenon or whatever it was. But we did know we were involved in something special. We were having a good time. We were working with a top genius of a director, Bob Zemeckis, who was really inspiring everybody to raise the level of their game up and play at their peak. And the scope of the picture was so grand that we knew we were doing something.
You know, I saw it the first time in a theater, and then I was coming back from New York in December, and it was on the airplane, and I watched it again. Every time you see this picture, you find little kernels here and there that you missed the first time around. It's remarkable. The little things that happen all through that picture, the little mosaics that make up the whole. It's terrific.
Yeah.
When he tears down the Jenny's father's house because of the molestation, just just stuff like that. Brian in Streetsboro, Ohio. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, I'm tempted to ask you how you're doing, but after...
No, that's okay, Brian. We're all doing fine. So Gary Sinise is right here.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
I got a question for you. Did you or anyone else involved in making this movie, did you guys realize how popular it was going to be and how big the movie was going to be?
It's funny, Brian. I just said to him the very same thing. I don't mean to step on your line here, but maybe we should have had a 3-day weekend, you know? Maybe we should not do shows on Monday. In fact, maybe we should do shows only on Friday night and always have Barbara Walters here. No, tell him again. You couldn't know what was going to happen.
No, we had no idea that it would become so popular. I knew I was working with Tom Hanks and Bob Zemeckis, and they've had a lot of success commercially and artistically, and so we knew we were involved with good people. We were working on a great screenplay by Eric Roth, and we had a great cast, Sally Field and Robin Wright.
How many people from... oh, by the way, Brian, thanks for calling. We got a bad line here, but I appreciate you joining our show.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. How many people call that you know from back in Chicago and back in New York and said, you know, Gary, you nailed it here? Because you did nail it. Lieutenant Dan was just great, you know.
Thank you. The week that the movie opened, I got so many calls from people that I hadn't talked to in a long time, friends that I'd worked with over the years, and who just called to say they went and saw the movie the opening week, and they were so generous with making me feel great about what I did, and thank you, everybody, for calling.
I insist on calling this to the attention of the people because it probably didn't get headlines in the New York Times, but you went to I believe, the national convention last year of the disabled American veterans, and you went there representing your character, Lieutenant Dan, who lost his legs in action. You made a talk, and I guess you got a tremendous reception there.
Well, it was something that they called me about and said, this is disabled American veterans. It's a group of well over 1 million veterans, disabled vets, and they called and said they wanted to give me an award for playing Lieutenant Dan, and that it's not like they give an actor an award every year.
Well, I had you bring it out here because I just want to share it with the folks there, because it's one of those great times when art causes something wonderful to happen in real life. And I guess there were how many people there that day?
There were about 5,000 people there, a lot of them disabled veterans from World War II on, all the way up to Somalia, and this was such a special and beautiful moment in my entire career, to have played this character and to have been received by these guys and validated by these veterans, that I was so choked up.
Well, as they said, for your sensitive portrayal of a combat-injured double amputee in Forrest Gump, we'll never forget the anger of the character you played as he begins to understand the implications that his injuries hold for the rest of his life. Your superb performance brought awareness of the long life sacrifice of disabled veterans back into public consciousness in a remarkably positive way. I don't know how you prepare to play if you're going to play a drunk, you can go out and get drunk. If you're going to play a railroad engineer, you can drive a train. I don't know how you prepare to play a double amputee.
Well, two of my brother-in-laws were, three of my brother-in-laws were in Vietnam. One was a lieutenant and went back as a captain and rose up in the military and became a lieutenant colonel, and he died when he was 39 years of age. And I always thought that Lieutenant Dan was somewhat like that, somebody that wanted a military career, and it was taken away from him. He came from a military family, and so I sort of pictured that, and I also read a book by Lewis Puller. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No, I'm not.
But he was the son of Chesty Puller, one of the most famous and decorated Marine generals. And Lewis wrote a book called Fortunate Son about his war, which was Vietnam, and he was a lieutenant in Vietnam. He stepped on a 150 millimeter howitzer booby trap, and it took his legs off and severely handicapped him, and he was in a wheelchair until he committed suicide, unfortunately, about sometime last year. And I read his book while I was making Forrest Gump.
Well, it's remarkable to me, and I hope the folks watching pick up on this, that from the last bit of research that you mentioned, which ended tragically in a man taking his own life, that you were able to take this character, Lieutenant Dan, and after suffering the horror of losing both your legs, to have Lieutenant Dan walk up and down that shrimp boat by the end of the movie, it was just a remarkable piece of daring do and positive work. It's terrific, just terrific. Well, you're very, very welcome. What's next for Gary Sinise?
I just finished a movie, again, with Tom Hanks.
Really? Yeah. Getting to be a habit with you, huh?
I don't mind. It's a good habit to have.
Yes, sure is.
Tom is one of the greats, and he's a special friend, and I hope to work with him many times again, but we just did a movie with Ron Howard about the Apollo 13, and I understand you're going to have Jim Lovell on the show.
Jim Lovell will be here, I believe, next week, and this is you in uniform and in character, and I believe, do you play Jim Lovell?
No. Tom plays Jim Lovell, and I play Ken Mattingly.
The one who didn't get to go, is that right?
He was scheduled to go on the flight, and he was bumped a couple days before because they thought he'd been exposed to the measles, and he hadn't had him as a child, and they didn't want him to break out with the measles.
Anyway, it's just a, you know, I have the best job in all of TV or broadcasting to get to meet people such as yourself, and I thank you for coming on tonight, and I'm a great admirer of your work and look forward to seeing you again.
Tom, it's a pleasure.
Okay, Mr. Gary Sinise, folks, one of the stars of Forrest Gump. Back to remember Rose Kennedy after these messages.
AT&T.
It's true. More than 13 million AT&T True Rewards members enjoy points, good for free AT&T minutes, frequent flyer miles, even rewards from Disney.
Your true voice.
It has 2 airbags, more room than you'd think, and great comfortable seats. In other words, it's a lot like a big fat car, but without the fat. Get to know the all-new Geo Metro. This is one thoughtful car. Its air conditioner's CFC-free refrigerant won't deplete the ozone, and it doesn't use a lot of gas. Get to know the all-new Geo Metro. Want to know more? Give us a call.
AT&T.
It's true. AT&T TrueVoice makes your calls sound so clear and close it's even patented. In fact, 4 out of 5 MCI and Sprint customers prefer it.
Your true voice.
See why there's never been a sitcom like Double Rush.
The size of a man's gun is crucial. It's not going to impress me very much if I have to squint to see it.
Then meet Dana's new admirer.
This guy might be in the cement shoe business.
I'm in the disposal business.
Hey, it's comedy you can't refuse. All new Love and War right after Double Rush, Wednesday.
Coming in February, an extraordinary time, an unforgettable story. Sidney Poitier heads an all-star cast in a film of epic grandeur, The Children of the Dust.
I want to know about meeting that special someone.
Sorry, can't help you there.
I want to know more about a diet I can live with.
No way, not in this commercial.
I want to know more about Rogaine.
Rogaine with Minoxidil?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay. Just call this number now for a free information kit on Rogaine topical solution. It could help answer your questions because it's filled with all kinds of facts about Rogaine. And because you need a prescription to get Rogaine, we'll send you a list of local doctors and special money-saving offers to help you decide if Rogaine is right for you.
But I want to know right now.
We'll mail it to you today. So what are you waiting for? Call now for your free information kit. Call 1-800-317-2255.
Ladies and gentlemen, now's the time to save on cable TV and the premium channel. Cable is late-breaking news, the hottest videos, sports that just won't quit. Cable is fun, fast, and round the clock. And it really swings with the non-stop excitement of the premium channels. HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, the movie channel. So get to your phone now and save. Call 1-800-CABLE-ME and get installation for as little as $5 when you subscribe to cable and premium TV. That's right, as little as $5 installation. Plus, you'll get a 20% savings certificate from the Lillian Vernon catalog. It's your last chance, so call today. Cable TV and the premium channel. Get them now.
Tomorrow night here we welcome Sarah Jessica Parker and our own attempt at covering the State of the Union address. Yeah, we're going to compete with the White House press corps, sure. Bill Maher and Tom Foley, who's resting comfortably. A true American treasure passed away this weekend. Rose Kennedy was 104 years old. Joining me now is author, scholar, and journalist Richard Reeves, who wrote a very insightful book last year on JFK. How much of an effect did this woman have on her sons and daughters?
She had a big effect when this family kind of divided itself. You know, Joe Kennedy was an absentee father. When they were born, he only got interested in when they could talk and argue and reason.
Run for president, right?
Yeah, she had, the biggest effect she had was that she was the one who got John Kennedy reading. She read history. Joe Kennedy was not a reader, and John Kennedy read, and then she was the public face of the Kennedys in Boston. A lot of people hated him, but she was the belle of the ball, the daughter of the mayor, Honey Fitz.
Right.
And if you look at the Kennedys commercials from the early days,
she's on them.
She's on them. She introduces them. This is my son, and she knew her way around politics.
You know, there was a wonderful clip on the news last night in the obituary for Mrs. Kennedy, in which they showed Robert Kennedy here in Los Angeles, and then you can finish the story where she comes up to the podium and takes great delight in saying, "Hey."
This is good. Boy, she comes up to him. I was there. She introduced him. He stood up. She came back and said, and you could hear it was like a stage whisper, "Make sure you tell him about your experience in the White House with Jack. That's important." And he's going like that. And then he got up there and looks back at her and says, "You see why we never come with her?" She was, you know, there was a lot to her. I mean, a lot of things happened in life. I had a friend call me today, a guy named George Mitrovich. Do you know George?
No, I don't.
He's an advance man for Kennedy. He's now the president of the City Club in San Diego. And in the 1968 campaign, she was in Chicago, and a reporter said, "Well, what about all the money you're spending?" And her answer was, "It's our money. We can spend it any way we want." And then there was a bit of a flap, and Fred Dutton called Mitrovich, who was the advance man in Denver, where she was headed, and said, "You got to get on that plane." And Mitrovich said, "Well, I'll get on there and I'll tell her what to say." Dutton said, "Don't tell her anything. Just get up there and tell her what's happened. She'll knock your teeth out if you tell her what to do."
What about her during the years that Joe Kennedy was out in Hollywood, running with Gloria Swanson, having an affair? She must have known. How did she handle that?
She prayed. I mean,
really?
she
was not about to break up the marriage over it, obviously.
No, I mean, she's the survivor, and you know, she kept to herself. She had this little place off from the rest in Hyannisport, and she prayed. And when she knew what was going on. She talked about it in a little bit in the book that she read about what great friends they all were with Gloria Swanson and whatnot. But she made her deal with him, and she made her deal, I think, with God, and thought that the God deal was better and more important.
Very Catholic woman.
To the point, yes, to an excess.
Fanatical?
Well, I mean, I would say that, you know. I mean, she was a daily communicant, and but hey,
I don't want people to think that I find that fanatical, because I don't.
Right.
I was a daily communicant myself for many years, and I not
no, and it's the way Protestants define Catholics, I guess. But she was
You've always been
serious. Yeah, very serious. I grew up in Jersey City. I thought it was a Catholic country. No, I did. I thought it was an Italian country governed by the Irish.
You know, you Protestants are all alike. You know?
Yeah, I know where we are. We are diminishing is what we're like. But she was, you know, she was a good pal. Life overran her, and she made her own deal with life.
And would her faith in God and her faith in everything have carried her through not only the assassination of JFK, but of RFK?
Well, it did. She pretty, you know, she's America's gold star mother, really. Truman Capote said of her that she was a perfect public person. And one of the things that's interesting about her is we never got her. She may be the last of people who could live through big times, big events and whatnot, and the press never got her to spill her guts in public.
Well, the same could be said of her daughter-in-law following the assassination in 1963. Richard, I appreciate your coming over tonight. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.
It was fun. I love the set. I love the whole thing.
Nobody ever left a hit show humming a set. Richard Reeves, folks. Next up, David Gunn Jr., whose father was murdered for performing abortions just about a year ago, and some thoughts on the continuing dialogue and, in many cases, war between those who believe in choice and those who believe in life. We'll continue after these messages.
pumpernickel before your head is so swiftly separated from your body.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Cheese and pepperoni.
What does he want on his tombstone?
What else? Real meat, real cheese.
And much better tasting than those pizzas with imitation cheese.
Another slice, monsieur?
When you're the eyes and ears of a million people, you can't let your stomach get in the way. So I carry Snickers.
Roasted peanuts, milk chocolate, caramel. Snickers satisfies.
How much longer can he last on that battery?
Hey, Larry, sometime today?
Larry Doty for the birdie.
Hooked it. Okay, I'll get him down.
The copper top. Tops them all.
Tonight, Gary handling his pal Warren Beatty.
You're as shocked as I am.
Plus, up close with Lyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's show, two lunatics from upstate bust into my office.
Thursday, CBS devotes an entire night of television to violence in America. See the heartbreak, meet the heroes, and share the hope.
I fight for the hearts and minds of the young people.
Join Ed Bradley, Dan Rather, and Mike Wallace in the killing fields of America. Thursday.
See this can? This is historic soup. That's because it was cooked in the past. You just reheat it. Now this is new Kettle creations. Delicious soups with pasta and beans. See the window? For homemade taste you cook up fresh in 30 minutes. In your kitchen, in your kettle, in the present. So now you have a choice. You can make history, or you can make soup. New Lipton Kettle creations. Soup so good, it's uncanny.
Protesters from both sides of the abortion issue gathered in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, commemorating the 22nd anniversary of the landmark Roe versus Wade decision. But time has not mellowed either side. In the past couple of years, there have been 5 murders at a number of abortion clinics around the country. One of those victims, Dr. David Gunn, whose son David Jr. joins us here tonight. He is also a vocal abortion rights advocate. And thanks for coming on, and my condolences on the loss of your father. Did you or your family have a sense that there was danger involved here with your father's continuing work on behalf of women who sought abortions?
Well, 2 years before my father was murdered, he had appeared on a number of wanted posters throughout the state of Alabama and Florida that were put out by local representatives of Operation Rescue.
And when you say wanted posters, wanted?
He was wanted for performing abortions. I mean, some of them said wanted for murder, some of them said, you know, wanted, we need your help to stop this man. And it listed his schedule, days of the week, where he would be at different clinics, the times of arrival, and the number of what they called deaths that had taken place at each clinic.
Right. You know, today I just clipped this because I knew you were coming in here. In USA Today, the newspaper, there's an ad here. If you can take a shot of it here, and I'll show it to you after the folks at home. It just says, "Face it, abortion kills." All-American Life League Incorporated. And I just wonder if ads like this, in your view, and as soon as they lose it on TV, I'll give you a look at it here. I wonder if, in your view, this kind of stuff stirs people up.
I definitely think it stirs people up. I think it's one of the most instrumental factors in the violence that's continuing outside of clinics now.
Yeah, and by the way, your father's death is not the only case of people losing their lives.
Right.
There have been other murders involved, involving doctors and other people who support.
Escorts.
Right. What about you know, America loves a conspiracy. I mean, in your view, how much of a link is there between the various incidents of violence and killing involving abortion rights activists?
Well, I think that there's probably a link there with my father's case especially. There is a regional office of a national organization called Rescue America. The leader of the regional office in Pensacola has been linked closely with every instance of violence that has taken place in that city starting in 1984. 3 months before Michael Griffin killed my father, he became closely associated with this man. And after that association, he ultimately pulled the trigger 3 times, killing my father.
Now, during the trial of Michael Griffin, who was eventually convicted of murder and the killing of your father, at the trial, I'm told that you were greeted every day by a man named Michael Hill.
Paul Hill.
Paul Hill?
Yes.
Paul Hill. and that every morning he would say to you, good morning,
right.
How are you today?
Right.
And he subsequently killed
yes, right. He
a
killed
doctor and his escort.
Right. And this was about a year and a couple of months after my father's death.
I mean, in your experience with him, would you have had any clue that he would have been able to perform that kind of an act?
He had always given me the impression that he could be driven to do that, but he had always said to me that he was the voice, he was not the instrument, he was just spreading the message. But I guess his message caught onto himself, and he ultimately pulled the trigger.
Let me just say here, in the essence of being fair, that a number of people who are associated with a variety of right-to-life organizations have condemned the actions of Paul Hill and others, including the man who was convicted of killing your father, and do not in any way condone, tolerate, or support attacking, maiming, hurting, or killing anyone in the cause of abortion rights. I mean, there are some people within the pro-life movement, a lunatic fringe that might be in the manner of the man that took your father's life, but I think that enough people have spoken against it that their voice ought to have some place in our discussion here tonight.
Well, however, now there's a organization that's newly founded by Joe Foreman and Roy McMillan of Jackson, Mississippi. Joe Foreman was former head of the Missionaries to the Preborn. And this organization, these two men were signers on the Paul Hill justifiable homicide petition. And I think that this organization, the American pro-life, the coalition of pro-life activists, that's what they're called, will be very instrumental in the new wave of violence that's taking place outside of clinics now.
All right, I have to pause for commercials. We'll continue with David Gunn Jr. and your phone calls on the toll-free exchange as time permits. A reminder for those of you listening on radio, it's 800-95-CBS-TV. We'll continue after a short break.
You know you can get salmonella poisoning from bacteria in undercooked food, like some chicken or fish. But you can also get it if that bacteria has been spread around the kitchen. That's why there's Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner. As it cleans, it kills the bacteria and keeps them from spreading, which may help keep you from getting sick. Get Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner.
Lysol spray use number 111. That slimy stuff in the recycling bin. Lysol disinfectant spray. There's nothing this can can't do.
Larry's afraid of anything new. But Burger King's got this new bacon cheddar double cheeseburger. 2 burgers with melted cheddar, sizzling bacon, fries, and a drink, all for $2.99. So he tries it. The next day, he's got his hair parted on the other side.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
Imagine a flavorful, fat-free dressing, bursting with real Parmesan cheese, made with real non-fat buttermilk. Hidden Valley fat-free creamy Parmesan, filled with flavor, not fat.
The most outstanding collection of contemporary love songs. Feel the Love with 40 great hits.
Wherever you go, I'll be with you. We belong to the light, we belong to the love. Because I love you. It's like being lost in heaven.
Feel the Love brings you 40 truly passionate songs by today's most popular artists.
I need you now. My love for you, love will lead you back, and I'm gonna keep on loving you. What did I say?
Feel the Love. 40 hits on 3 cassettes or 3 CDs. Here's how to order.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-980-7733. Or send $19.95 for 3 cassettes or $26.95 for 3 compact discs. Plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Feel the Love, P.O. Box 7400, Department R, Libertyville, Illinois, 60048.
Order anything here at the cafe, and you'll be assured of one thing. Light-tasting, delicious food. Because I'm cooking with something new. Crisco Natural Blend. A blend of pure canola and vegetable oils that reflects today's light living. With only 1 gram of saturated fat, I
thought the leading blend was light. But this is lighter in color and taste. So bring in a healthy appetite. And remember, light taste is your order of the day.
Crisco Natural Blend, because cooks who know trust Crisco.
We are back with you and joined on the toll-free line by Kate in Cleveland. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
I have a question for David.
Go ahead.
I'd like to know, David, do you fear for your own safety in light of what has happened to your father by doing these talk shows and stuff?
Well, a Catholic priest by the name of David Troche out of Mobile, Alabama, has declared that anyone who is active in the pro-choice movement is now a target of what they deem a justifiable homicide ideology.
Who said that again?
His name is Reverend David Troche. He's a Catholic priest in Mobile, Alabama.
He said that people in pro-choice should feel that they are targets?
People who are actively involved, who are activists. He said he even went as far as to say women who use IUDs are subject to the same.
It's a pretty inflammatory statement coming from a Catholic priest.
Right. And he's not been excommunicated. He's had his congregation. I mean, he can't preach, but
taken away, right?
Right, but he's still a member of the Catholic Church and still able to wear his collar.
Setting aside an inflammatory and in my view, extremist statement like that, do you have any level of respect? What level of respect would you have for a person who deeply believes in conscience and morality that abortion is a heinous crime against the unborn and should not be allowed?
Well, I mean, I think that they, like anyone else, has the freedom of speech guaranteed under our Constitution to definitely say that. I think that they're crossing the line when they say that and begin to use inflammatory remarks such as, you know, this is a baby-killing monster, this is a woman-hacking murderer. You know, I think that statements like that are what has led to the trend of violence that we're seeing outside of clinics.
Right, and by the way, Kate, I appreciate your call. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you.
And there are some sincere pro-life people who would compare their actions to those of Gandhi, to those of Martin Luther King. They truly believe that they are on the side of rightness and that they are on the side of morality and that they have a just cause.
Right.
And so it would be your view that that viewpoint is certainly permissible in terms of vocal support, but not in terms of interfering with your activities as an abortion activist.
Right. I don't think that anyone's civil liberties should stem or should get in the way of my or anyone else's civil liberties.
Right. Susan, Rockville Center, New York. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Tom, it's good to see you back on TV in a channel I can find.
Thank you.
I live right near the Diocese in Rockville Center, and I actually am a pro-choice activist. And it's a little disturbing to me in light of all the stuff that David just said, that anti-choice people can walk around with dead baby bumper stickers like John Salvi had on his truck, the guy who just murdered the people in Brookline. And they can be as anti-choice as they want to be, and we have to live in fear. I have to be afraid that somebody's going to drive their car up on the sidewalk in front of a clinic I defend. And I have to be afraid of putting anything pro-choice on my car because they might vandalize it. And that's so minor compared to the tragedy and the murder of your father.
You know what's curious to me that I've never heard in this debate? And, you know, I go back to the words spoken by Jesus Christ, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. If, in fact, you people are killers, if, in fact, you are murderers, and if I were pro-life, rather than killing you, I would say, Father, forgive these people, for they know not what they do.
Right.
You know, it's not for, in my view, the pro-life side to judge you and, in some cases, execute you for doing what you believe to be a moral thing. Right. You know, what was your dad's position on this? He was a gynecologist, obstetrician. How did he feel about life and the unborn?
Well, I mean, he felt that that was a personal decision that had to be made by the patient. He was there to provide the best medical service that he could as a physician.
And he felt the weight of treatment went with the patient, the woman, and not with the fetus.
Right. I mean, it's the woman's decision, which is what Roe versus Wade states, and that's the way it should be kept, and that's what my father believed in, and that's what ultimately took his life.
Susan, I'm glad you called. Thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, how active are you now as a pro-choice supporter?
I'm extremely active, but I think that our activism can't follow the path that the Catholic-sponsored pro-life movement does, because we just don't have the budget. So we have to do a lot more of getting into the school boards at the lower level and getting into the papers at the lower level and trying to do it like through legitimate means because, frankly, we don't have the fear factor and we don't have the budget.
Right. Susan, I'm glad you called. Thanks for staying up late.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate your being here and giving us your time and your position. David Gunn Jr., abortion activist. We will continue and wrap it up for late on Monday, early on Tuesday after this timeout.
You've been there. It's late, you've got a headache and can't sleep. But you're worried about taking a nighttime medicine. Why worry? This is aspirin-free. It gently helps you sleep, and it's treated nighttime headaches and sleeplessness over 200 million times. Aspirin-free Excedrin PM, the PM medicine for headaches from Excedrin.
And now, introducing the first PM medicine in fast-acting liquid gels. New aspirin-free Excedrin PM liquid gels.
Hello from Plank Road, where our man Paul has gotten lots of calls and letters asking, is ice beer really beer frozen like ice? Nope. Paul says that would be beer on a stick, not an ice beer. Ice House is ice beer. Ice brewed so there's never any watered down taste, just more of what you want in a beer. Ice brewed Ice House. It's not frozen, but you can sample a frosty cold one almost anywhere. Thanks, and enjoy.
How fast can you begin to feel relief from a cold? Depends. How fast can you open a Halls with vapor action? Halls vapor action means instant action, only from the halls of medicine.
Chew on this. Down in Austin, the hottest places to eat ribs are the hardest places to brush your teeth. Now chew on this. Chewing Trident with NutraSweet after meals can actually help you fight cavities. So when you can't brush, chew on this. Trident.
What a great day to buy a car.
I thought the days of women being treated differently than men were long gone.
This is the vanity mirror so you can check your makeup.
Then I tried to buy a car. Something reliable,
It's safe.
sporty.
How much you looking to spend?
I want to spend about $12,000.
Rich can help you out. I'll be back to you soon, okay?
When I got to Saturn, Dave Pierce took the time to answer all my questions. Not only did I buy a Saturn, I thought it might be fun to sell them. You know what I like best about working here? Showing guys the vanity mirror.
Hi, Mike and Pat Kane here for Southwest Ford. You know, folks, our Browns have had a great season. There's nobody tougher.
That's right, Mike, except Ford trucks, and they're on sale at Southwest Ford. New 94 Ranger XLTs, only $99.95.
That's a good price.
New 94 Aerostars, loaded, power everything, Mike, only $15,995.
Room for the whole family.
And our most popular vehicle right here, the Explorer, four-door, four-wheel drive, at least $2,000 off.
Folks, don't get sacked at another dealership. Shop Southwest Ford and do it today.
Explore a city where the horizons are ever expanding. Discover a TV newscast that knows no boundaries, no barriers. Join people who want to give you information that means something to your life. Add your voice. Take part. 19 News, a new choice for a new Cleveland.
I hope you'll stay tuned now after hours on the Late Late Radio Show with my friend Elliot Forrest. You can reach him at 1-800-890-9990. Join us tomorrow night for Sarah Jessica Parker, and then there's absolutely no need for you to watch tomorrow night's State of the Union, because we will have complete coverage here tomorrow night with Bill Maher. Jeez. Yeah, sure. Back tomorrow night, same time, same station. Drive safely on the way home. Thank you all for watching, and sleep tight, America. Good night, all.
Later tonight, what's it all about? The bombshell from the defense in the Simpson case, plus the most unusual will you've ever seen on CBS News Up to the Minute.
Joel steps into another dimension.
I feel disoriented.
Is it a cosmic joke?
I'm very happy here.
Or a whole new Sicily?
Put down that fairy tale.
Northern Exposure Wednesday.